You know, normally I skip most military and governmental aircraft because they just don't really interest me that much, but thanks to the great prices from the FMB shop, I thought why not give it a go with this model to see what it actually has to offer. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A340-500 of the Royal Thai Air Force. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of that we have a few markings and crests of the Thai Royal Air Force. Then on the back side we unfortunately have another cutout, and that's the only thing really we can say about this other than this just looking completely rubbish, but Herpa doesn't care. And here she is, the Airbus A340-500 in the livery of the Royal Thai Air Force. This is in fact the very first Airbus A340-500 in my collection, or that I have ever reviewed. But given that the aircraft type also has only been in service with a handful of airlines around the world, it's maybe not that surprising. But let's take a closer look to see what the model actually has to offer. And the best way to do that is by starting around the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer find the Thai flag, and underneath that an internal registration code. Then of course we also have a bit of detailing on the horizontal stabilizer, and then on the fuselage we find the full registration code of the aircraft, alongside the marking for the Thai Air Force, and towards the very tail of the aircraft also a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we then have the writing of Royal Thai Air Force both in English and in Thai. We also find some static ports and another crest or logo of the Royal Thai Air Force. On top of the fuselage, Herpa has then also added sat domes, one at the back of the aircraft and also a little bit smaller one here at the front of the aircraft. Looking pretty nice overall, I think. Then we also have the cockpit section with the somewhat dominant but very nice looking blacked out nose cone, and of course the cockpit windows. Whether the window wipers have been added here is however a bit difficult to make out due to the black paint or sun protection underneath the cockpit windows. Then we should also take a quick look at the engines, or more specifically the engine nacelles here, which have been kept in white but do have the silver leading edge, and also carry the blue and golden cheat line that we have on the fuselage, alongside some hatches and safety relevant markings, which looks really awesome. And also the physical detailing of these engines is actually really nice, especially here from the front. Very nice, you can see the engine fan blades. But now let's move on to the wings, which we should definitely also take a closer look at, starting off with the top side, where we on one side find the Thai Royal Air Force logo, which we then also find on the other side alongside the full registration code of the aircraft. We do also have some different shades of grey for additional detailing, and of course also the flap slats and spoilers carved out very nicely. On the underside of the wings we then find more nice physical detailing, and again the Thai Royal Air Force logo as well as the full registration code. And the A340-500 does of course also have winglets, and I think Herpa has done a pretty decent job in recreating those here. And from the winglets we can move on to the landing gear. That is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all the Airbus A340-500 aircraft models. Overall I think pretty decent, especially the main landing gear, but also the front landing gear looks pretty good, although I would have loved to have some printed details here. And then last but not least we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here at the back of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A340-500 in the livery of the Royal Thai Air Force from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? I mean, overall, I would say Herpa has actually done a pretty decent job with it. I very much love the engines, I think they look great. One concern I have, however, is the grey coloring on the belly. Now, I'm not saying that it is incorrect, because grey is a very difficult color and it changes very much depending on the light. But let me just say that I haven't found many images of the aircraft in real life where the grey tone was as dark as on the aircraft model here. Still, overall I think the aircraft model is pretty well executed by Herpa Wings. It comes with a nice looking livery, so for those who like military or governmental aircraft, I think this could be a nice option to have in one's collection. Now on that note, it is time to end today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.